Yes, guys, hello and welcome to the Spurs Related YouTube channel. I hope everyone's doing well on this bank holiday Monday, or you may be watching on the Tuesday. But anyway, hope everyone had a great weekend. We are back with the content again. We're trying to make it as regular as possible. If you do have any content creation ideas that you want videos for, please do let us know in the comments. Smash a thumbs up, all that usual stuff. Sub if you're new. And today we are talking about Harry Kane and the big talking point, which is if he does leave, are Spurs destined for trouble? I mean, there is quite an obvious answer here, but we're going to explore all the options. We're going to explore all the possibilities of what does happen with a Tottenham side without Harry Kane. And as you can see, again, I am joined alongside Andre of Spurs Related from Canada. Andre, how you doing today, mate?
I'm doing great. A little worried. It's the end of the season, and once again, Tottenham don't seem to know where they're at. So
Yeah,
we don't know where we're at. We don't know where we're going. Uh, Pochettino just signed with Chelsea, and now this whole Harry Kane talk is just getting me worried. But that's the Tottenham life, isn't it? It's always the
yeah.
same. I don't know what's going to happen, but let's explore this Harry Kane thing. It's quite the topic after that last game he had.
Exactly, and we were saying the exact same 2 years ago, weren't we? When we thought he was going to Manchester City. This time, we think he's probably going to Manchester United, or a lot of people also think his contract will run out. I think it's pretty 50-50 at the moment. I think there'll be more to come in the next couple of months, of course. Real Madrid rumored to be coming in. Not sure that's a tier one source, but of course, who knows what was going to change in this. But in terms of the title of the video, I could answer it very quickly, but also I want to look at some of the stats in terms of how much does Harry Kane, contribute to our goal scoring. We know it's a lot, but I want to break that down. You know, can we even replace him? I don't think we can, but are there any obvious options for me? Off the top of my head, Evan Ferguson from Brighton is a young player coming in, looked similar to Harry Kane. He's got a similar play style, but of course, is a good chance he won't reach the heights of Harry Kane, but you never know. Um, but I just think it's going to be very, very difficult if we lose Harry Kane. Just very quickly, 70 goals scored for Tottenham this season as a club in the Premier League. Harry Kane scored 30 in a season where arguably it's our worst season for 10 plus years. To score 30 goals is incredible. What a player we have. How fortunate have we been to have him? I mean, if we take his goals out of our team, yes, of course, some of those goals would be scored by whoever he was replaced by, but I can guarantee it wouldn't have been 30. It would have been lucky to be 20, even 15. Um, Andre, we got a +7 goal difference with a player that scored 30 goals this season. If Erling Haaland wasn't in this league, that would have been an easy golden boot. And without moving to the next topic so quickly, I think it just says an awful lot. Harry Kane scoring 30 goals in this team, Erling Haaland scoring 35 goals in a Manchester City team with that talent, with that finesse, with those creative players around him. I think Harry Kane could arguably score 35 goals in that City team, don't you?
Oh, I think so. I think it's just a little unlucky that the season Kane goes off, which he normally does, but more than usual,
Hmm.
and a machine joins the Premier League. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just very unlucky. But no denying that Kane, in a team that has De Bruyne and all these other players feeding him, he would score a lot more. I think
Exactly.
he would have even gone further than 35 goals this season if he was on a Man City
Well,
team.
well, Haaland got 36. I do apologise. 36 goals. I've done him an injustice of one goal, but 6 more goals in a Man City team that scored far more goals than Tottenham this season. I mean, if you have a little look at the table, Man City scored 94 goals. Haaland scored 36 of those goals. I think Kane, who has almost scored 50% of Tottenham's Premier League goals this season, would have scored 40 goals in that Man City team. I really do believe that, but we'd never know, I guess, unless he went there, of course. But Manchester United are just crying out for a player like him. I mean, Manchester United scored 58 goals and we scored 70. So you
Yeah.
put his goals in a Man United team and suddenly they climb the table, they get more points. I think he would be incredible for Man United. Of course, I don't want it to happen, but I think it makes sense if he does go somewhere to stay in the Premier League to try and beat that Alan Shearer record of 270 goals. 260 goals. But for me, I feel like, you know, we have this discussion every summer, don't we? You know, if Kane goes, where's he going? And then if Kane goes, who do we get? I just think that is such a hard question. Who do we get? I think if he's going anywhere, it's Man United. And if he stays, he goes on a free next year. Now, without getting too deep into does it make sense to keep him for a season or cash in for like 80, 90, 100 million? For me, I think we've got to let the player do what he wants because I don't want to hear this. Daniel Levy didn't let him go due to a gentleman's agreement. A gentleman's agreement was formed on the basis that he could go, and then Daniel Levy went against that gentleman's agreement and kept hold of him against his will. His agents weren't. Kane's agent wasn't happy. His brother. Everything kicked off that summer in 2021, didn't it? We don't want to get into a situation like that again. I don't want any bitter taste. If he wants to go, I feel like Daniel Levy and the club has to listen to him, respect him as a club legend. He is our all-time goal scorer. If he wants to go out and win a trophy, let the guy go. Let him go on a high. I say go on a high, not from the club's point of view, but from his point of view. The club adores him. The fan adore him. So we should respect that. And if he wants to go and better his career and try and win a trophy, then let's let him do that.
Oh, no, 100%. Those are facts, 100%. I think the last thing you want to do is tarnish his legacy here, especially because, maybe once he's on the end part of his career, he could always come back. I could see that happening too, just sort of to end in a Spurs shirt because, well, he's a club legend and he always will be. But I do think that Daniel Levy has let him down too many times. There's been projects that have been shown to him, and every time it just hasn't worked out. And I do think that you're right. If we don't do something now, he goes on the free next year, then it won't even matter about who we bring in because there's no money. And not to say that there won't be any money, but the money we could use to help find someone of that caliber or someone close to that, it's going to have to come right out of Daniel Levy's pocket instead of using partially the money of the selling of an amazing player.
The thing for me is, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, you made a good point in terms of Daniel Levy's let him down before the club, but it's not just Harry Kane. Let's not, go off on a tangent here, but Mourinho last week, you saw that interview with him at Roma, and he said, the only club I don't have, a strong connection to anymore is Tottenham. I still have a strong connection with Chelsea, he said. He said he still has a strong connection with Real Madrid, etc., Porto. But Tottenham, he doesn't because he feels let down. He said that Daniel Levy sacked him and didn't let him win that cup final. He still hates it. And he still also said that obviously it was COVID when he was managing. The fans weren't in the stadium, so he didn't get the love he maybe should have done. Personally, I loved Mourinho, but the fact that he says that the one club he doesn't feel the love for anymore is Tottenham because of that connection with the board, and it's not just Mourinho that says this. Kane has obviously, had this problem with the board before. He didn't, cause a massive fuss about it, but we don't know what happened behind the scenes there. Obviously, Daniel Levy didn't let him go, but there has been so many fallings out with this board that you just have to question and go, actually, it's clearly not the player or the manager each time. We've got a serious problem in terms of, it goes back to the previous video, isn't it? The whole selling problem, the whole letting players and managers do what they want in order to achieve something at this club or move on when they want to. And we don't let these players move on when they want to, and it becomes toxic. And this club has never been as toxic as it has right now, in my lifetime anyway. It is so toxic right now at the stadium. We don't even fill the stadium because season ticket holders do not go to the games. I mean, that is absolutely insane. And fair play to the season ticket holders that don't go to the game because they paid for their tickets. They paid thousands of pounds a year and they're not going. For me, that just says an awful, awful lot about what a state this club is in right now.
Oh, no, I 100% agree. I think even Antonio Conte, right before he left, right, that mic drop of a press conference that he had where he called out Daniel Levy and the board over everything that's been happening, right? He knew he was going to get sacked. He was like, I'm going to do it in my terms then. I'm going to let everyone know what's going on here. And the biggest thing for him, the biggest point is that the board was letting down us, the fans, right? Because every time there's a new project, we back the manager, we back the players, and then we get let down. I'm still heartbroken that we were one game away from possibly winning a trophy, and Daniel Levy sacked Mourinho to save a couple million. And I think that thinking that we're above any trophy right now is ridiculous. And I think Harry Kane felt the same way. He's like, we entered a final with no direction. And you know, and I'm really, I feel bad for Ryan Mason, because every time the club is in a mess, they appoint him as an interim manager, and whatever happens, he's the one who has to take all the brunt for it. But it's not his fault, right? He was a Tottenham player. He got injured, and he got brought on to help out in the club. And now every time that the club is in a mess, they bring him in and he gets scapegoated every time. And it's not fair to Ryan Mason either. He's trying his best here. But imagine how Harry Kane feels, right? He wants to win something with this club. He's been giving his all every season, even the season where he wasn't performing very well because of all the drama that was happening. He still ended the season with some really good stats, actually. And
let's hear them.
Let's see. Let's do a
stats breakdown.
All right, so for the stats breakdown, let's see. Let's go over the last 5 seasons, right? In the 18-19 season, from 40 games, he had 24 goals, 6 assists. That's about a 0.75 goal contribution per game difference. But then
bear in mind, at that point, Son was contributing a lot more as well in these seasons as well, of course.
Well, yeah, and I'm pretty sure that was the season where he was injured the most, wasn't he? He was out for most of it. But then he goes and he comes back with 34 games, 24 goals, 2 assists. So, you know, I do remember people were a little worried about what was going to happen next. But then in the following season, in the 2020-2021 season, Mourinho's, you know, his project was going full force, 49 games, 33 goals, and 17 assists across all competitions. That's about a 1.02 goal contribution. That's his best one in the past 5.
And that is incredible. And just to break that down more, that was all comps, wasn't it? I mean, in the Premier League, 35 games played, 23 goals, 14 assists. That's 37 goal contributions in 35 matches. That is Haaland-type stats. In a Tottenham team over lockdown, which, if you remember, finished 7th in the Europa Conference League spaces on the last day of the season against Leicester because Gareth Bale, the veteran, had to dig us out of it. So that just says how good Kane was in an awful team again.
Oh, and yeah, don't forget, this was a season where, as per usual, our defense was the biggest problem, right? They were the weak link. We were
Sanchez.
How many times did
he got memed that season, Davinson Sanchez, because he got put on his arse, do you remember, against Man City, and got an absolute meme made out of him because he just collapsed. I mean, Eric Dyer made mistake after mistake that season. You said you liked him under Mourinho. For me, he was less bad than he is now, but he was still pretty crap because we had also Davinson Sanchez. And if you look at the table, we conceded a lot of goals that season as well, if I remember. But then again, we were under Mourinho. It was a bit more defensive. But then we had that under Conte. And I know form-wise, at the end of this season, we just conceded so many more goals when we let Conte go. It just became an absolute joke. Because that just proves how well Mourinho and Conte did with that awful defense, because as soon as you get rid of them and get rid of the tactics, you can see more goals. And it just says that if you've got a manager like Mourinho and Conte, you have to provide them with the defense they need. Otherwise, it's just an absolute shambles.
Oh, no, I agree. I was never saying that Eric Dyer was this amazing player either. It's just
you did say that.
No, what I said was there were some coaches that can just bring the best out of a player. Okay, so I think Eric Dyer was Mourinho's man, and that's why he performed way above what he normally would. A really good player, no matter what manager they're under, will play well. Eric Dyer specifically played well under Mourinho, and that's about it. Other than that, true colors, no. And even then, he was doing some interesting things, like leaving the pitch to go to the bathroom halfway through a match.
No, if he's got to go, he's got to go, to be fair to him, you know?
Yeah, but I just think that it just goes to show again that Harry Kane's done a lot for this club. It's so sad to see that none of that really gets shown because there's no trophies. And a lot of games where Harry Kane did put us ahead, you had our leaky defense letting in more goals and then making us lose or tie. Like, for me, you say the Man City game is the highlight for you. For me, it's the West Ham game. That was ridiculous.
Oh, that was a joke. Lanzini. I don't want to hear about that anymore. I remember coming on live after that game, and I was literally shaking with how fuming I was, because I remember just 3-0 up, And West Ham were pretty poor that year as well, and we just folded so bad. Lanzini scored a rocket. I remember was it Harry Winks that just passed the ball out on the box and he
Yeah.
just thumped it from 25 yards.
Yeah.
Oh, don't
Yeah, and
lockdown.
then
Yeah.
and then Sanchez's own goal, I think it was. That was the second goal. But yeah.
That game was up there with one of the worst games of football I've watched live. I remember literally being like so angry, even though like that season we were never in the running for a title or anything else. Like it was just against West Ham as well, who were a rival. I was livid. You've
No,
actually
I
made me
couldn't
angry
believe it.
talking about it.
Well, see, that's the thing. That's why to me that's the highlight for me that season. I couldn't believe it. That and when we got out in the Europa League to Dinamo Zagreb, that was
No, that was the worst. That was the worst by far, actually. Oh, you're bringing back so many horrible memories. Can we talk about Harry Kane again and how much I love him? I love the guy. Can we talk about Harry Kane, please?
look. It's I'm bringing them up because that shows like what our legacy is right now, and it's a bunch of times where we've tried and then we just lose it. We bottle it, you could say.
No, yeah.
Um, and I think it all stemmed to that last press conference where Antonio Conte just basically did it's the history of the Tottenham part 2 to Chiellini's first version of that.
Right. And
'Cause
everything he said in that press conference was pretty much correct.
no, I agree, and I think it was very bold of him to say what he had to say, but I agreed too. I think
Yeah.
that there was a lot that was called out, and there hasn't been much change. Daniel Levy has tried to change, but it's a little too late. And then not backing a manager who he knew, we all knew this is a high maintenance manager. This is a guy who
Mm.
needs the players that he wants, and you have to give him players or he'll leave. Look at Inter Milan. They won the Scudetto and he still left because they were like, well, we're not sure. We have
Mm.
the players to win the league. Maybe we can get a bit. Nope. And he left.
Yeah.
So
Because he knew he wasn't going to be able to be backed, and Inter Milan had problems. But let's talk about. Sorry, Andre. Let's talk about. As I said, we always want to try and keep these videos as short and concise as possible. Your guys' time is money, so if you do like these shorter video ideas, please do smash a thumbs up. We've got a couple more minutes. And also subscribe if you're new. If you're enjoying the content, we appreciate all the new subs. Let us know if you're a new sub. Little comment, and we're always replying the comments, won't we, Andre? But
yeah.
a couple more seasons. We've talked about the Mourinho season. Let's talk about the last two Conte's. Well, Conte and a half season, I guess.
Yeah, so I mean, the following seasons after that, the last season, we had 50 games, 27 goals, 10 assists, about a 0.74 ratio there. But then this season, of course, 49 games, 32 goals, and 5 assists across all competitions, a 0.76 goal ratio. But, he matched, I believe, I can't remember how many seasons ago it was where he matched, I think it was the 17-18 season. In Premier League goals, he matched the same one, 30 goals, 3 assists.
It's
And yet
insane,
again,
isn't it?
and yet again, he doesn't win the Golden Boot. So I mean, that's just
Yeah.
terrible
mean,
luck.
His numbers are ridiculous. It's basically it averages out as almost a goal a game every season. I mean, slightly under some seasons, but I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah,
You
and
just look at those stats.
yeah, and again, what could we possibly do afterwards, right? It's the push and pull type of feeling here, where it's like, I love Harry Kane. He's an amazing, amazing player, and I think I speak for everyone, possibly, that I think if we respect him as a player and what he's done to our team, we'll let him go.
Yeah.
If he
It's what I
wants to
said at the
go,
start.
if he wants to go, then Daniel Levy needs to just accept it and get some money for him and let him go, because next season he'll still go. And I'm sure he will probably talk to the board and be like, look, make some money out of me at least. I'm still worth a lot.
Yeah,
You can sell
100%.
me to a rival club, or I can go there for free, right?
I think Kane's loyalty is he won't want to get sold to a loyal rival club.
Right,
I
but
think,
what other team could he possibly go to that isn't a rival club when it's the top 6?
yeah, well, okay, but like a London rival, I don't think he definitely won't go to Arsenal, and he might. Even if Chelsea come sniffing around with Pochettino obviously being announced today, which I could cry about, but I'm trying not to think about right now. Genuinely, I don't see him going to Chelsea, and if he does, then I'm going to start doing an NFL podcast or something because I can't be asked for football anymore, mate. Honestly, genuinely, if Harry Kane goes to Chelsea, I'm done. I will never ever sing anyone else's name because I sung Pochettino's name for all those years, and he's put a knife in our back. I've sung Harry Kane's name for all these years. He's an absolute legend. I cannot see it, but if he ever got tempted to go to Chelsea, I'm fully done with football. Genuinely, you have my word. I will not ever do anything to do with football again. You
So
can
that's
call
your
me a
breaking point.
baby, you can call me immature, but there will be no loyalty. Will be dead. I mean, I'm still pissed off now that I'm thinking about it again. The Pochettino's gone to Chelsea, but if Harry Kane are absolute, Mr. Tottenham through and through, loves the club, he is genuinely up there with the all-time club legends. If not, he is our club legend, like hands down. And he goes to Chelsea, Andre. Honestly,
Right.
forget it.
Well,
I think,
I do think that will have to do a lot with what happens in the summer, because the minute that guy's a free agent, all top 6 clubs are going to go for him. He's
I
free.
think, yeah, and do you know what the annoying thing is? He hasn't quite got enough goals to then go abroad because he's still 40 or so goals off the Premier League record, and he's not doing that in one season. So if he wants the Premier League record, he has to stay in the Premier League past this season. And then
Yeah.
it's Man United, Man City. Who else? It's got to be one of them.
I mean,
But
I
anyway,
can't imagine that kind of goal contribution he's going to have with other A-list players feeding him like that. But again, at the end of the day, look, it's the Kane effect here, right? It's what he brings to the club beyond just being a striker. He's a guy who shows his loyalty and keeps you going, right? Like
yeah.
that season where we thought he might be leaving and he was clapping and he did like a lap around the stadium. I was ready to cry because I thought he
Well,
was going to leave.
well, Andre, you say that. Did you see him yesterday? There was apparently he had a bit of a tear in his eye when he went and clapped the fans. Don't know if people are reading too much into that, but he looked quite emotional yesterday. Maybe he knows. Maybe he knows he's not
Maybe,
staying. Maybe
maybe,
he's
and
already had a meeting with the club. We don't know these things, but what I would say is, guys, prepare yourself because I think it could happen this summer. I really do. I
and
really do think Harry. I really genuinely think Harry Kane is going to leave this summer. I think that is enough for him to see. Like you said yesterday, he's promised project after project after project. He's had world class manager after world class manager. We don't back the club properly. We don't get him in a position where he can even win a trophy. Why would he stay, mate? He's pretty much in his prime right now. He's 30 years old. He's gonna, in the next couple of years, lose even more pace and potentially move even deeper. This is the time where he's gonna win a trophy. This is the time where he's gonna make his name at another club as well. And unfortunately, as much as it will hurt us, I genuinely think he will go to Man United this summer, and that is my honest opinion.
no, I'm not sure where he'll go or
No,
if
I
he'll
think
stay one more season, but I do think that the way he looked in this last game, something about it was different. It wasn't it was an emotional one, but more of like I'm ready kind of thing. And we've already had this feeling ourselves, right? I already mourned him leaving a few seasons ago when I thought he really was going to go. And I personally think that he's done amazing things here, and he's done more than enough. He deserves to go somewhere where he can win a trophy if it's not going to be us. And Daniel Levy will only have himself to blame that he won't be, the guy that gets us a trophy here.
Andre,
Because
think it's a good point you made, but Andre, think about it. Like, say he stays this coming season. Be honest with yourself. Is he winning a trophy this year? Is he winning the Premier League with Tottenham next year?
probably
Is he
not.
winning the FA Cup with Tottenham next year? Is he winning the Carabao Cup with Tottenham next year?
Oh
He's
my
not
god.
winning any Europe because we're not in it. So there's another season gone by in his career where he'll be 31 next season. He still won't have won any trophies in his 15 or so year career. Careers aren't long, mate.
Oh yeah.
He's going to get to 34, 35 and probably be thinking about hanging up his boots like Gareth Bale did. I'm sorry, but I think it's time he's going to go. And I'm actually genuinely at the point where I'm like, he should. He should
Yeah.
for him.
Well, I think we just went through all 5 stages of acceptance here. Like
Yeah.
we were in
Yeah.
denial, then you got angry, then we got sad, and then we started accepting it, and
Oh, dear.
here we are.
Andre, we can talk about who could potentially half replace Harry Kane in another video, I think. But guys, if you do have any other video ideas, like I said, smash them in the comments. Smash a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. We're doing all sorts of reels and stuff on TikTok and Instagram, so go and head over to them. If you want to follow my Twitter,
and feel free to comment your favorite Kane moment. Honestly, I think for me, my favorite Kane moment.
There could be another video, Andre. There could be another video. What's your favorite Harry Kane moment?
Well, we could do that, but I mean, throw in the
What's your favorite moment? Go on quickly.
For me, there's so many. I would say,
for me,
that Leicester game from from a couple seasons ago, where he scored that banger that he made out of nowhere. He just curled that ball in. I think it was like the last game, I think it was about 2 seasons ago, where
I think it was.
We won like 3-0 or something like that. And I remember I went in thinking that we were going to lose, to be honest, as it's kind of been tradition nowadays. But
for me, it's definitely that goal against Arsenal at home, where he had the mask on and he whipped it from the side, took his mask off. You know, the real iconic one. It's when we beat Arsenal a lot of times at White Hart Lane, at the old White Hart Lane. It's good times, good memories. But guys, we've gone well over what we thought we were, as always. If you did enjoy the content, thank you so much for watching. Smash the thumbs up, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And we will see you very soon for more content throughout the week. Take care. And as always, as much as it hurts me to say, come on, you Spurs!